The Pakistan-Khalistani terror nexus is trying to stoke hijab fire. India Today has accessed exclusive intel note warning local police forces and law enforcement agencies of hijab referendum being pushed by ISI through terror group Sikh for Justice. India Today found out that the father of petitioner who faced off with the saffron protesters is a PFI district leader. Our next report tells you more.
Protests, counter-protests, celebrity voices, global face-offs.
ರಾಜ್ಯದ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಮಕ್ಕಳ ತಂದೆ ತಾಯಿಗಳು ಕೂಡ ಕೆಲವು ಮತೀಯ ಸಂಘಟನೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅನ್ನುವಂತದ್ದು
Allegations of Islamist links. And now, a Pakistani ISI Khalistani terror nexus stoking the hijab fire in India. India Today accessed an exclusive intel note warning local police forces and law enforcement agencies of a ISI Khalistani group-backed Hijab Refrendum. The warning group says terror group Sikh for Justice is pushing up to a so-called Urduistan in the areas of Rajasthan, Delhi, UP, Bihar and West Bengal, where Muslim-dominated areas will be free to practice their religious beliefs. Amid the snowballing tensions, another big twist surfaced in the controversy. Karnataka Home Minister Janendra accused Islamist Campus Front of India of instigating the pro-hijab protests.
ಮಾಹಿತಿ ಇದೆ, ಮಂಡ್ಯದ ಹುಡುಗಿ ಮಾತ್ರ ಅಲ್ಲ, ರಾಜ್ಯದ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಮಕ್ಕಳ ತಂದೆ ತಾಯಿಗಳು ಕೂಡ ಕೆಲವು ಮತೀಯ ಸಂಘಟನೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅನ್ನುವಂತದ್ದು ಅರಿವಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ.
The minister said the Popular Front of India asked parents to take on UDP College and even send lawyers to represent the parents. India Today found out that father of petitioner Muskan Khan, who chanted Allahu Akbar, is a PFI district leader. Another petitioner, Alia Asadi's cousin, Nazat Asadi Belapu, is also a member of the radical Islamist outfit.
PFI, the SDPI, all of that is backing you, they say?
Yeah, they are backing because we approached them. Because our parents approached them for help when they put us outside the class and not allowing us to enter the class. And our parents were already done begging them to allow us to go to the inside the class. At that time, they approached CFI for the help.
The matter quickly led to standoff between the families of 6 Muslim students and the college management.
Intel suggests that agencies like ISI and Sikh for Justice are provoking Muslims in India on issues like hijab. The BJP in Karnataka has said that Campus Front of India and PFI were involved in the hijab protests. The big question is whether these hijab protests, which have made international headlines, were spontaneous or planned.
BJP MLA Raghupati Bhatt alleged that his life was under threat over the controversy. The MLA claimed that he was receiving calls over the internet from different countries. The callers had reportedly told him that they know how to control him and threatened to harm him if he continued to oppose Muslims.
That is not from any particular association or any person. This is all dummy calls from the internet calls. But I didn't take it very serious. As a MLAs, we'll receive a lot of like this calls.
BJP Minority Cell Chief Daud Abubakar also said that he received threats for speaking against the pro-hijab protesters. Several questions are raised as the hijab showdown gets murkier. Is this an attempt by terrorist groups to divide our nation? Bureau Report, India Today.
Nolan Pindo now joins us live for the very latest. Nolan, walk us through this PFI link that has been confirmed with the hijab row, and at the same time, whether or not PFI, what is even, allowing these men, the saffron-clad men, to heckle a woman like that, regardless of what the origins of this entire controversy is. Get us both the sides of the story.
Well, good morning, Shaiti. In fact, one of the students speaking to my colleagues had very clearly stated that they did take the help of the Campus Front of India. That's the CFI. That's what they clearly stated. Now, later on, the Campus Front of India, when we spoke to them, they did not deny. They said that they just came to give them, they used the word guidance. They didn't say support, they said guidance. Now, a few days ago, the Home Minister of Karnataka, Araga, when we asked him about this particular issue, he said that it's not just one students' association with the he didn't say a PFI, he said one of the communal organizations. He said that many students' relatives are or have links with such organizations, which means you're talking about the CFI, PFI, and SDPI, and that the Karnataka government is actually looking into all these antecedents, because right from the beginning, Chaiti, the Education Minister, Nagesh, has been actually stating that he has information through the police that the entire issue was fomented by the Campus Front of India, the PFI, in order to create unrest and chaos and also to show their power over there. So this is what is exactly happening as of now. And furthermore, yesterday, when we spoke to one of the students, in fact, the classmate of one of the petitioners, she clearly came out and stated, in fact, this was eye-popping, if one could actually use that word, that these students never ever wore a hijab inside classrooms. It was only in December that they started this issue. So this is that girl's, one of the petitioner's own classmate, coming out and stating that all was normal before the Campus Front of India basically interfered. This is what the government has been stating. On the other hand, the government, when we asked the government about the saffron shawl protesters, whether, because there are allegations from the CFI and the PFI that the government, basically few of the MLAs or ministers are instigating, well, they have denied these allegations.
All right, leave it at that. Thank you for joining us with the details. Nabila Jamal also on top of this story, bringing us all sides, throwing straight across to you, Nabila, with the hijab row simmering across states, not just Karnataka. It's become pan-India now. What are we picking up at the moment?
Right. Right. Cheti, we see the repercussions across several other parts of India as well, particularly in Srinagar. In fact, this row has simmered in Srinagar. We're looking at a student, a 12th standard student, Arusa, who topped her exams. She got 490 or 499 marks out of 500, one short of full marks. This girl, who's a topper, has been trolled heavily for not wearing a hijab in Srinagar. In fact, social media has been hectically trolling this girl who topped the 12th class mercilessly. She's bagged the first position in science stream in class 12 board examinations, fell prey to this trolling on social media for not wearing the hijab. In fact, many of those trolls asking Arusa to take lessons from the Karnataka schoolgirl who chanted Allahu Akbar, told her to become a role model for girls in Kashmir. Now, Arusa, with firm belief, has replied to these trolls, slammed them, saying that she follows Islamic principles and doesn't really need to wear the hijab to prove herself to be a good Muslim. Arusa, who freely otherwise interacted with the media earlier, has now denied speaking on cameras after all this toxic trolling on social media. Arusa has scored 499 marks, like I said, one short of a full 500 mark, a full mark exam in her science stream. 12th standard board exams. She was also felicitated by the Deputy Commissioner of Srinagar. She was presented a certificate of excellence, a trophy and a cheque of 10,000 rupees. All right, I'm going to quickly cut across to Ashraf Wani joining us live from Kashmir. Ashraf, Arusa has been hectically trolled for not wearing the hijab. It seems like we are seeing different angles surfacing over this hijab controversy. Those girls who aren't wearing it are now being pushed to wear it by trolls on social media. Any word on what these trolls are saying and if there's a complaint that's been registered with this regard?
Nabila, so far we have not seen any kind of the issue on the hijab, not only now when fresh controversy erupted across the country, but in fact in the early 90s and late 90s when there was a diktat from the militant groups for the schools, for the local population to use burqa and the hijab. Then even the women folk of the Kashmir Valley, particularly, some of them rejected and some of them adopted this diktat. In fact, even today in the schools, most including the convent school of the Srinagar and other famous schools of the Kashmir Valley have some of the girls wear hijab, some not prefer to wear hijab, and there is not any kind of controversy. In fact, in this fresh case about which you are talking, the topper of the 12th board exams who topped this exam this year, Arosa Parvez, she got more than 99.8% marks in these exams. She was fine and absolutely talking to the media about her success, about her proud, in fact, her family also. But abruptly on Friday, there were some protesters in the Shopian and some other parts of the Kashmir Valley in favor of the girl who chanted Allahu Akbar in Karnataka. Then some of the social media users started trolling to this girl who was the topper in 12th exams, that why she is not wearing hijab, she's coming forward and she should follow the girl of Karnataka and become a role model like her. But in fact, the girl was very upset. Yesterday we spoke to her. She was not in fact ready to come on camera, but finally she tell that she did not need any kind of certificate from anyone to be a Muslim. By wearing hijab, one cannot be a proper or perfect Muslim. But in fact, today she also responded. She said that it is not time for her to use hijab when she will follow the other principles like the 5 times prayers for the Muslim, which are the fundamental in the Islam. When she will do those practices, then finally at some time and at some stage of life, she could adopt the hijab. But it should be the time when she will be using it. In fact, she also said that she's not bothered about the trolling by some of the social media users, but definitely her parents are much worried about the comments being made by the social media, particularly by the daughters.
Right. This has clearly become an issue which has multiple dimensions here. One forcing to take off the hijab, the other here to forcing to wear the hijab. And that was a fear. And it seems like with Arusa's case, that also has now surfaced. But nonetheless, I'm here in Bengaluru speaking to several Bengaluru voices to try and understand what uniformity really means to them. If at all, wearing a hijab in a classroom would cut away from the uniformity, or would students here feel different if a person wore the hijab? Here's a ground sense of what Bengaluru thinks. Let's take a listen. Some of the girls that have studied in Bangalore, grown up in Bangalore, have really followed on the happenings in the state as of now. Let me toss to them. What do you think about uniformity in schools? Your personal opinion. Go for it.
So I would say, while I do stand for uniformity in school, because I feel like it creates an environment of learning for the children, and you don't judge anyone on the basis of what you're wearing or outside appearance as such. But at the end of the day, we have to take into consideration the fact that we are there for a common purpose, that is to be educated, to learn something at the end of the day. So as long as we are following that uniform or the code of conduct in school, we can express ourselves in different ways, be it in terms of religion or be it in terms of whatever we're wearing and all of that. So while I'm all for uniformity, I am not for the discrimination of people on the basis of caste, creed or religion.
But here you have you grown up in schools and colleges where you had your fellow classmates wearing the hijab?
I definitely do. Yeah, I have grown up, like I have changed around 9 to 10 schools.
Oh wow!
Grown up in like different states of India.
Like we're all army kids.
Yeah, like
so we have like different experiences growing up. Like people from all over having, been in the same classroom while growing up. So we're pretty respectful of other people's opinions, and that's what we expect going forward as well.
You have to be sensitized to the person's culture, respect their religion and everything, as long as your basic rights and way of living is being respected and tolerated as well. Like live and let live.
Yeah, the idea of having uniformity is just like a so for me at least, it was to maintain like a uniform culture in college, because we had a different approach to this. Everyone could wear whatever they want. It kind of was more stressful to us, but to have that proper uniform. But then again, in my school we had people wearing hijab, wearing whatever religion they were from. You have to abide by those as well. So I feel like uniformity as a whole it can be based on, it depends on how your culture like promotes you to be, right?
You know, but did you ever have a problem as such with a certain person following their religion in terms of wearing the scarf or wearing the turban or anything?
I feel like at least I was privileged enough to never face that, and I hope that the generation that is to come doesn't have to face it also, but I know they are.
Yeah.
But it just comes down to, what you do, what you have to do, be happy doing what you're doing, that's it.
How would you look at freedom of religion to practice religion inside classrooms? Uniformity, is that important to you?
Well, for me, to start with, for me, the first thing that comes is humanity, not religion. So I would say, no matter what, let's not discriminate each other based on our religion, because humanity always comes first. Be it in classroom, be it anywhere you go, humanity always comes first. So I think, right now it's a first right now, and there's a sin happening everywhere, especially in Karnataka. The recent news I heard about it.
You are from Manipur, yeah?
I'm from Manipur, and so I would say,
have you seen girls wearing hijab in Manipur?
Yeah, I do have seen. I do have a lot of friends who wear hijab as well. So yeah, actually, we should be inclusive with everything we do. Yeah, let's not discriminate just because they wear something else, or they look different. I wouldn't say that, because humanity, for me, humanity always comes first.
It's paramount. Inside classrooms, do you feel different if someone's wearing a headscarf?
Not at all.
Okay, let me ask.
Sure.
How do you look at it?
Even me, I would agree with what he says, because what's there to judge? Just because you're looking different from the rest, instead that should be like a big bonus point that you're unique. You should feel different. Because just because the girls are wearing hijab and all doesn't mean that we should look down on them or we should talk bad about them. So I would really go with him, we should really choose humanity first, because all these castes, religion and all were made of people only. People decided to make all this.
So even if girls want to wear hijab inside a classroom where everybody is dressed a certain way, or they want to wear something on their head, does it bother you?
No, it wouldn't bother me.
What about you?
Yeah, basically, I think they already say that they say everything all, you know what I'm saying? And because you cannot just discriminate people for the sake of religion or for the sake of freedom or race or something like that. I believe everybody deserves equal right to wear whatever they want to wear, you know what I'm saying?
People are starting to judge, and everyone else is following. And this is a really bad influence. There should be people to educate other people that you shouldn't judge based on what they're dressing up and like that.
Great, thank you guys. Thank you very much.